They're at it again.
Guys, what are you trying to achieve?
It's round 2, and considering the wonderful reception I got and the way my last video was received, I decided to do another. The video we'll be watching today is a story by Channel 9 this time, and from a few days ago. It's a case where 48 vegans were arrested in coordinated attacks across Australia with precision and planning similar to that we see in other acts of terrorism. Now you might say I'm exaggerating, but let's look at the definition of the word terrorise. Terrorise. Create or maintain a state of extreme fear and distress in someone. Well, we know animals aren't a someone, so that has to be talking about human beings, right? Okay, and what do we have here? He used his private army to terrorise the population. Huh.
More than 100 protesters are outside the front of a slaughterhouse in England because this man asked them to come.
I was fearing for my life.
What's that I hear? I looked up the word terrorise, not terrorism. Okay, let's look up the word terrorism. So terrorism, the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in the pursuit of political aims. Well, that's exactly what was happening here. There's been threats of violence plenty of times by vegans, intimidation constantly, and it's always aimed at civilians, the greater public. Now let's look up the word attack. Okay, so attack, to criticise or oppose fiercely and publicly. Well, once again, that's exactly what was happening here, and it's exactly what we see every single day from vegans. As we can see, the definitions fit perfectly, and if you listen to the videos out there, it sounds like they're actually reporting on a live terrorist attack.
What we're dealing with is radicalised extremists.
Where else is going to be affected as far as you know?
Yeah, Georgie, look, we've had some intelligence to suggest that this will be targeted pretty well in every state across the country, again, which is extremely concerning.
Around the country, the most disruptive of them is here. This is at the corner of Flinders Street in Melbourne.
They're terrifying the population, Georgie.
Yeah, we're just hearing actually there's another one that is taking place. It's just started outside Flinders Street station.
Now, we're also getting these pictures through from farms that have been stormed.
So having said all that, if vegans want to compare animal death to the Holocaust...
Animal Holocaust.
Animal Holocaust?
Have you heard of the Animal Holocaust? Have you heard of the Animal Holocaust?
Oh, to be honest, mate, it's a bit of bullshit, eh?
Then I'm going to compare animal rights protests to other acts of terrorism that are all conducted to take our freedom and rights away at the end of the day, the same way veganism is by definition. And why it might not be through violence yet, the core message is the same. Terrorise.
Some people that we've spoken to term it as a form of, almost a form of terrorism.
Threaten, intimidate,
It's intimidation.
and other antisocial behaviours to impose your belief over others, just like other forms of terrorism. Just listen to the responses from people. It's like vegans want to be disliked.
Thousands of vegan activists caused chaos around the nation.
You had a lot of very grumpy commuters.
They've really upset a lot of people.
You have lost us.
Anyway, let's watch the video, and I think we'll do it the same way we did last time. I might chime in every now and then, but for the most part, I'll just let the video go.
It was a coordinated protest spanning 3 states. Animal rights activists blocking peak hour traffic and storming abattoirs in the dead of night to chain themselves to machinery. The day marking the anniversary of a controversial vegan documentary ending in the arrests of 48 people.
They'd broken in the middle of the night, chaining themselves to a conveyor belt, their aim to shut down Goulburn Abattoir.
As you can see, we've got pipe covering hands so that we can't be cut out.
9 protesters, armed with a camera and a message.
It's not acceptable to take a life from someone who doesn't want to die.
It wasn't long before police stepped in.
You want to turn it off or I'll take it from you. You make the decision.
No, I have the right to film you. I have the right to film you.
You're under arrest for trespass.
On the streets of Melbourne, they banded together. Vegan vigilantes chained to the cause.
Our climate is dying. Trillions of animals every year are dying, are being tortured every day. I'm here to raise awareness about that, and I'm here to say that it's time to take action.
Oh my God. Animals are not being tortured every day, okay? Maybe there are isolated incidents here or there, but for the most part, this is not the epidemic vegans want it to be. It's just not. Ask any farmer and they will tell you a happy animal yields more meat. And farmers are not in the business of torturing their animals for fun. They're in the business of making money. That's what business is. So this whole animals are tortured every day is completely ridiculous. The whole climate change bullshit, ask that girl what she knows about climate change and she'd have absolutely no reply. Nothing at all other than maybe what she'd heard and what she'd read and considered to be fact. And as far as all these animals dying, do you realise how many animals die in nature every single day for one reason or another? It's ridiculous.
Police taking action of their own and carting them away. There was more success for the 19 activists in southeast Queensland who agreed to end their protest near Warwick and avoid arrest by negotiating their way out.
All of these guys unchained. We'll stay here until we hear those lands are out.
With 3 sheep as a peace offering.
You've got to be kidding me.
While those in Sydney chalked up a much more placid approach, peacefully walking through the city with placards in hand.
So the reason we see them walking around with these signs, watch this, watch that, is because really these people know nothing about what they're talking about. They rely on the fact they can send you to a propaganda documentary that's designed to make you feel guilt and fear. It's emotional manipulation to get you to see things their way. That's what it boils down to. And that's why they walk around with these signs.
People are against animal cruelty, and when they realise what's happening in the industry and that they're unknowingly funding it, they're quite shocked.
Today's coordinated demonstrations all align with the first anniversary of a controversial documentary.
Our farmers are doing it bloody tough enough at the moment as it is, without the threat of these people coming onto their properties, chaining themselves to machinery, to farm sheds and potentially threatening the viability of their farm operations.
These people are totally un-Australian. These people who do these sorts of things, they should be locked up.
A day that started so publicly, ending with 48 charges across New South Wales and Victoria.
Have a look at these clowns, eh? Walking up there in their camo pants and shit, thinking it's some sort of military militia or something. And completely ridiculous, man. It's all intimidation, these people. It really is. Over the top bullshit.
More actions will continue, like I said, until transparency is across the industry.
Julie Snook, 9 News.
Okay, so that's it. End of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There's not really much else to say. It's just the same old bullshit. So I think I'll leave it there and I'll see you in the next video.